Alfa Romeo. The name used to mean passion, performance, and pure Italian soul, but lately it feels more like a ghost of its former self. What happened? Well, a lot of fingers are pointing at one place: Stellantis. In today's video, we're diving into how one of the world's biggest auto groups may have taken the heart out of one of Italy's most iconic car brands. Buckle up! This one's going to sting for the Alfisti out there. In 2022, Alfa Romeo tried to make a big comeback with the Tonale, a sleek new compact SUV that was supposed to mark a bold new chapter for the brand. On paper, it had everything: sharp design, Italian flair, and modern tech. But in reality, it missed the mark. Buyers didn't need months to spot the flaws. Complaints started pouring in within days. Sure, the Tonale looked the part, but that wasn't enough to win over a market hungry for substance over style. Alfa aimed for a revival, but what they really needed was a serious reality check. So, what really happened? How did Alfa Romeo go from giving the world legendary cars like the 33 Stradale, the Giulietta Sprint, and the Spider to making cars with low-quality material and mechanical issues that became apparent within minutes of getting in them? Now, the actual problem went way deeper than just a car. It was even bigger than just a single brand. The real issue was a huge company worth billions and billions of dollars and its troubling strategy, which benefited no one except its shareholders. When Alfa Romeo launched the new Tonale, enthusiasts around the globe were filled with excitement. However, the excitement quickly died once they got hold of the new SUV. While the older vehicles were made of premium quality materials, the Tonale was nowhere close to that level of excellence. Alfa Romeo was a brand that once symbolized Italian elegance, craftsmanship, and uniqueness. The brand was the representation of Italy in the automobile industry, and the cars it made, a piece of art. They were luxurious, they were fast, and they were reliable. The products of Alfa Romeo were extraordinary, and the brand was known for it. But in 2021, Stellantis acquired Alfa Romeo. Stellantis wasn't just any ordinary company, it was a giant. Stellantis was a merger of 14 major automobile brands. It combined huge players: Jeep, Dodge, and Chrysler from North America, Citroën and Peugeot from France, and Fiat, the parent company of Alfa Romeo, from Italy. To an untrained eye, the launch of the Tonale was just an ordinary car launch. But upon a closer look, people were able to realize that this car was a significant point in the history of the brand. The Tonale made it completely clear to the people that Alfa Romeo had changed, and the cars it would make now under Stellantis would never be the same as before. As soon as Stellantis bought Alfa Romeo, the company went through drastic changes. Everyone in the company could see it. Stellantis' goals and ideas did not match Alfa Romeo's ways. They now only had one thing in mind: money. The mastermind behind it all was Carlos Tavares, the president of Stellantis. Tavares had a reputation for turning around struggling brands and making insane profits for shareholders. From the moment he set foot in Stellantis, he made it clear that he was going to make the company insanely efficient. He was determined, and he was ready to do whatever it took. Profits were essential for Stellantis, and they quickly began chasing the highest profits possible. But their ambitions had costs, and the first ones to pay the price were the workers who had been loyal to the businesses for years. To cut costs, Stellantis began laying off workers on an unprecedented scale. Around 1,500 workers were offered a voluntary layoff deal in Turin alone, and the total number of employees laid off went over 2,500. The workers were offered a severance package, among other options relevant to their status in the company. But that wasn't it. The city of Turin had been the hub of car manufacturing in Italy, and around 50,000 jobs were tied to the car industry in the town. With the abrupt decline of the manufacturing industry, the city's economy took a massive hit. Turin's plant is not the only one that suffered due to this. The Casino plant, known for producing Alfa Romeo's classical vehicles, suffered intense damage as well. The workers in the plant have had their working hours cut down. This lowered their average income, putting them in a state of constant pressure from all sides. But on the other hand, Stellantis did not seem to be suffering. The company was doing quite well in terms of profits. The shareholders were making good money, and Veritas was personally flourishing, being the second highest paid CEO in the automobile industry. When Tavares announced the potential shutdown of the plants, the workers had had enough. They brought their issues out in the open, and so began the protests and strikes. The first strike occurred in Turin, where the workers walked off the job for 3 consecutive days. The strike should have made the company come to its senses, but it did complete the opposite. More than 2,000 workers were put on temporary layoff. Later, there was a nationwide strike complemented by a march in Rome. This was the largest strike in Italy in over 40 years, signaling the size of the problem. Stellantis seemed like it was doing well, but on the inside, it was slowly but surely decaying. The prices of Alfa Romeo cars have gone way higher than they used to be. This could have been considered normal, as the new vehicles were premium, but Alfa Romeo had always been in the premium section, yet their prices had been consistently better in the past. So, what had changed? Since the automobile industry had suffered during the pandemic, most car prices had gone up. Those prices were not sustainable after COVID, but Stellantis turned a blind eye to that fact. Tavares was obsessed with making profits, and higher prices got him just that. Stellantis was still cutting costs everywhere else they could, be it labor or material. At the same time, the cars were still priced higher than the market. There was a particular reason for this. The demand for these cars was dropping significantly, and that factor could not be ignored. But these high prices would compensate for the low demand. This might have been good for the company temporarily, but in the long run, it would take them down from within. The Guala Quadrifoglio, which had been priced at around $68,000 before 2021, was now priced at $78,000. The customers were beginning to look at other options, and before they knew it, Alfa Romeo's customer loyalty had suffered severe damage, along with its brand image. Brands like BMW and Audi took in the customers who were now done with Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo might still have been able to hold its place in the market, but the quality of the cars also declined under Stellantis. The Alfa Romeo cars were known to be designed with care and crafted with the best materials, but that just wasn't the case anymore. The aggressive use of plastic in the interior of the car made it not only more prone to damage, but also made the vehicle seem way less premium. There were also glitches in the infotainment systems that caused customers to complain. And this isn't even all of it. The car's overall structure just wasn't what it used to be in the past. It needed very frequent repairs. What caused even more outrage among the customers was the situation with the warranties, as the consistent issues led them to rely mainly on repairs, even though the brand offered warranties. The focus on efficiency had taken a considerable toll on the quality of the cars. Alfa Romeo was now just a shell of its former self. The vehicles were no longer reliable or of premium quality. This further destroyed the brand's image. Online communities were filled with negative reviews about the cars. It was publicly known that these cars could not be trusted anymore. The resale value of the vehicles declined as fewer and fewer people wanted anything to do with these low-quality vehicles. The vehicles by Alfa Romeo were known to be of elegant Italian design. They used to be beautiful and robust simultaneously, but that was no longer the case. The brand began to lose its unique selling point, and it was now just another automobile brand. Stellantis still did not want to change its ways. Under Tavares, it was still trying to cut costs wherever possible. The company was slowly moving the production of the Tonale SUV to Poland. This was done due to the country's cheap labor costs compared to Italy, and that left the workers wondering if things would get even worse. The workers in Italy are proud of the high-quality products they have been producing for ages. They knew that moving production out of the country would only further damage the brand's image. The move also caused anxiety and distress among the workers, as they feared their job security was at stake in the country. Workers and unions across Italy are now pushing back hard. They're demanding Stellantis reinvest in Italian factories, believing that without proper funding and training, Italy could reclaim its legacy as a global car manufacturing powerhouse. For them, this isn't just about jobs, it's about national pride. Alfa Romeo was born in Italy, and they're not ready to watch that heritage fade. Their protests aren't just noise. They're a call for transparency and a plea for Stellantis to work with them, not around them. The government didn't sit this one out. They stepped in with promises of investment incentives to help Alfa Romeo stay competitive in the electric future, without abandoning its Italian roots. Backing the workers, they're pushing for job security and a stronger domestic industry. But let's be real. If Alfa Romeo wants to survive, Stellantis has to step up. That means building better cars and rebuilding trust. Years of missteps have badly tarnished the brand, but not all is lost. Then, out of nowhere, on a quiet Sunday in December 2024, CEO Carlos Tavares resigned. The official story? Differing views. But insiders suggest the board finally woke up to the fact that the company was headed off a cliff. Now Stellantis has a clean slate, and the world's watching. Will they rise from the ashes, or just dig an even deeper hole? We look forward to seeing you soon with another interesting story. You can share your thoughts on the tragic tale of Alfa Romeo under Stellantis in the comments section below. And subscribe so you don't miss out on anything from us in the future.